Hey guys, it's the Adirondack Stacker. As you might have guessed, today we're going to be talking about this stuff, silver. I'm going to give the bull case for silver and the bear case for silver. Is it a sleeping giant of an asset ready to explode? Or is it dead money? Is it time to give up on silver? Now, very recently, gold has taken off and kind of legged up to the next price level. And it doesn't seem to be slowing down either. We've had just a lot of bullish movement and sentiment going on with gold. And silver really hasn't caught up. Some people are getting excited about the few dollars that it's gained recently. You know, it's up to $28.10 currently as I'm making this video. The gold to silver ratio is still very high at 84 to 1, 84 silver ounces to 1 silver ounce, or to 1 gold ounce. So there are a lot of silver investors who are happy about the gains that we've made and celebrating, but I think it's not necessarily something to be celebrating about, and kind of view it as just a bunch more sideways action, which has pretty much been the story with silver for a very long time. So first I'll give my bullish thoughts about silver, the sleeping giant theory. So a lot of traders, experienced traders, have a saying. It goes like this: the bigger the base, the higher in space. Meaning the longer something goes sideways and builds a base for, the higher it shoots up when it finally does take off, go through a bull cycle or even a bubble phase. So the bigger the base, the higher in space. Gold has had about a 13-year base, you could say, of pretty much going sideways. There's been some price changes, obviously, some ups and downs, but we've built a 13-year base for gold, and now it's finally moving out of that range. Now it's finally legging up. If you look at silver, it has an even crazier base of 43 years. Silver has been trading in the same range, this stuff right here, for 43 years now. Now we've had a couple pops to the $50 range, but they've always been short-lived. I think the last time it happened was in the 80s. Correct me if I'm wrong, and it was pretty short-lived. But as far as legging up to the next price range, we haven't seen that. We've seen a base of 43 years, basically sideways action. This year we could test $30 or even $35, but grand scheme, that's nothing to really write home about as far as assets go. In 2025, I could see silver going to $50, $50 to $100, depending on where gold takes off, ends up. Right now, we're just, to me, I would say, in my opinion, we are in the beginning of a metals bull run. We're in the very beginning stages of a metals bull run. And as you might know, silver kind of lags behind gold for a long time and doesn't really make any big moves until the intermediate or even bubble phase of the metals run. So after gold has been running for a while and people are cursing silver and gold becomes so expensive that it's unattainable to most people, that's when you're going to see people hop in. And because silver is such a small market, it can make some really rapid gains or losses really fast. So I think in the intermediate metals, during the intermediate metals bull run, during that phase, we could see silver between $50 and $100 an ounce. And then during the bubble phase of the metals, of the metal bull run, we could see silver go from $100 to $500 very, very rapidly. And at that point, that's when you want to kind of get off the bandwagon and do some selling, because like any bubble, every bubble pops. Kind of impossible to call the top, so get out early. Don't be greedy, right? If you can. And at that point, we might see gold, the gold to silver ratio return to about 30-1, or even 20-1. I think historically it's 15-1. Who knows if we'll ever see that again. So now my bear case for silver. The bear case for silver is that it's dead money. That silver is manipulated to the downside by banks, and specifically JP Morgan. You hear a lot of silver people talking about JP Morgan like they are the boogeyman of silver and gold. And in some ways they are. But interestingly enough, JP Morgan owns 675 million ounces of silver. They have the largest holding of silver, physical silver, of any entity in history. And that's just what we know of. They might have more than that. 675 million ounces of silver, that's a huge percentage of the silver market in general. So it is easy for them to manipulate the price. They also obviously own a ton of paper silver. But I'm just talking, that's just physical silver they own. Silver, the sentiment for silver has been very low. And when starting to improve a little bit, but generally it's pretty low. And when sentiment gets like that, people start to give up on silver or whatever the asset is, and say, hey, this is never going anywhere. Let's get out of this altogether and sell. Another bear case, another reason why I think silver is struggling is because a lot of financial gurus and influencers denounce gold and silver. Like you'll think of there's a ton of them that put down silver and gold, but one that comes to mind right away is Warren Buffett, who interestingly enough owns 30 million ounces of silver. So I think a lot of times with these billionaires and financial guys, when they're telling people not to buy gold and silver, it's kind of like gold and silver for me, but not for thee, right? They want to hoard all the gold and silver. They don't want regular people, average Joes or regular working class people going out there and buying gold and silver. They want to own all the real wealth. And so that's why, in my opinion, that's why I think that they're always constantly putting it down and telling people to steer clear. Right? I mean, big money, central banks are breaking records year after year, buying an incredible amounts of gold. So, to me, money talks. These guys aren't just buying the stuff for no reason. But anyway, another reason you can make the bear case for against silver is that, just like I said before for the bull case, it's been going basically nowhere for 43 years. So you could say, well, it's gone nowhere for 43 years. Why should things change? It's an industrial metal. It's manipulated. They're going to keep it low forever. Yada, 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 right? So those are the ideas behind the bear case. And I think, for me, I'm on the rational side of things, which is the bull case. There's only so much silver. We're using it up all the time. It's been building a base for 40-something years. Just like any other commodity, just like any other asset, it's going to go through a bull phase. A bull market phase. And that's what's happening right now with gold and silver. Silver is just lagging behind a little bit, like it always does. So my predictions for silver are, like I said before, I think 2024, we test $30 to $35. Next year, we test $50, maybe even reach $100, depending on what's happening with gold. That's kind of going to be we're going to be getting into the intermediate phase of the metals bull run. Then later on, deeper into the phase, when we start to see that bubble phase with gold, when we start cracking through 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe $10,000 gold, we're going to see silver go from $100 to $500 super rapidly. And then that's the time to profit take with silver. Unless you just plan on holding this stuff forever, which is another solid plan and your choice. But I think that would be the best time to profit take if you were going to profit take. So let me know what you think of my thoughts. Maybe you think they're a little too bullish. But if you look at the charts and different runs that metals have had in the past, they're actually kind of conservative. It could get even crazier during that bubble phase, things could get even crazier as far as emotions and FOMO. And, this is an underinvested segment of the market. 80% of people don't have any gold or silver. What would happen if, another 10 or 15% of people decided, hey, these guys are making tons of money off of gold and silver, we're going to hop in on it too? Gold and silver are going to explode. And that's what happens. And no, I don't think if gold reaches $10,000, I don't think that means it's the end of the world. I don't think that means that you don't want to live in a world that where gold and silver are that high, because that means a loaf of bread will be $300. I don't think that at all. Look at Bitcoin right now. It's $70,000. And prices are a little high at the grocery store, but that's just one asset, and it's exploding, and it's going through that bubble phase, and there's FOMO, and it's not a fundamental thing. It's an emotional response. So I think things could be just fine if gold went to $10,000 an ounce. I don't think that it necessarily would go there based on fundamentals because the dollar was collapsing, but it could just go there based on just emotional buying and FOMO. Well, anyway, guys, have a great night. Thanks a lot for listening. Let me know what you think about my predictions for the metals.